So during the talk, you can ask me any questions you want. Depends on what type questions you're asking, whether it's related to what we are discussing at that moment. I might start discussing that question, or we can leave it towards the end. You can also write down. Do you have papers?
Yes. So on each chair, you should have a piece of paper. On the reverse side, you can write your question. Anyone need a pen, can raise your hand. Of course, if you just raise your hand and ask a question directly, you will receive a gift. So while Q is talking, if you have any question, feel free to raise your hand. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, if you have any questions you want to ask, write down on the piece of paper and pass it back to Jenny, and she will reorganize it and give it back to me, and we can discuss it at the end of the talk. Finding love is a very big topic, and it's a lifelong journey, and I think I divide it into 3 steps. First step, you meet this other person, and then second step, you get to know each other, and then once you have chemistry, you want to build a relationship, you're together, and you two still need to nurture the love between you for the rest of your life. But today, we're going to just cover the first topic, or how to meet the other person. Right. There's actually one more step, which is, I put it as 0.1. So you have to prepare yourself before you go out and meet people, basically both physically and mentally. You need to be ready to meet people. You need to know what kind of person you are, what kind of person you're looking for. If you don't, you need to go out and meet a lot of people in order to find out. If you already know, then it makes your job much easier. So let's start with this. A lot of people think that finding love is something intangible. It's something that just happens somehow, randomly. But I don't have that thought. I'm an engineer. I think I have a typical male engineer brain. So when I think a problem that I need to solve, I sit down and think about, okay, what is the model of the problem? And how can I go about to solve this problem? So this is my model, very simple model of the single world. All the dots here are people that you can meet, or single people that in your age range and things like that. And the red dots are what I say are the people who could potentially match you. They can, if you meet them, you recognize them, you two can start a relationship, and you can build them into the best relationship ever you can build with anyone. So that's my simple model. And for different people, the threshold of how compatible you need to be before it turns from a blue dot to a red dot are different. If you have very high standard, then your red dots are obviously much fewer, right? So this is the problem. How do we go about to solve this problem? Anyone have anything to say about this? All right. So what I think is, first, you need to go out and meet as many people as you can, right? In order to find one of the red dots, you have to go out and meet them. If you meet every one of them, and you get to know every one of them, for sure you will find this person. But you don't have that much time. So what would you do? You have to increase, number one, you have to increase the number of people you can meet during your everyday life. Number two, you have to increase your efficiency by going to the places where these people will come out, right? For example, if you think you're attracted to people who likes to do their housework, they're hands-on people, DIY people, you need to find where these people are. Maybe Home Depot, work like programs, things like this. And if you think you're attracted to intellectuals, like people who have a higher degree, have a very good education from Ivy League, Then you need to go to maybe Stanford, Berkeley. When they organize alum events or get-together events. You need to go to these places. So you need to, when you think of this problem, you need to figure out how you can solve it very efficiently, most efficiently for you to meet the person that you two that is a compatible person. So this whole thing, the whole idea comes from this. But the other thing that most people probably don't think about too much is that at the same time, you're looking for this other person for you. This other person is also looking for yourself, right? So that means you are actually one of the dots. So how do you make the job of the other person much easier? So you need to make yourself stand out, make people know what kind of person you are. So once they come next to you or close to you, they realize, okay, wow, you're the person I'm looking for. Instead of when you're still sitting next to each other and this other person still doesn't know that you two actually can be together and build a very good relationship. So everything else that comes after this that I'm going to talk about are from these two things. Where are the pens?
Behind you? That one?
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. So there are two things you need to do. The first one is basically when you go out, you're actively looking for someone. So you need to increase the number of people you meet. And you need to increase the efficiency. Basically, go where they are. Two is passively waiting, but it's not really passive because you need to do something so that when these people come along, they can recognize you. So you need to advertise yourself. This is the same thing as when you go out looking for a job. When you go out when you need a job, you write a resume, send your resume everywhere, right? But when you're looking for someone, most people don't go out and tell people that I am looking, so you don't get exposure. Then other people don't know who you are, what you're looking for. Then it's much harder for someone who is looking for you to find you. So now I'll go over the different situations in everyday life where you can meet these people. So there are basically three different ways. Number one, you can meet them yourself in everyday life. This is the most old traditional way that you meet people. And this is also the least shameful way that people feel like they can tell their friends how these two people meet, or where you met your husband. Like if you family friends introduce you a little bit, feel ashamed, and if you meet on the dating site, a lot of people are very uncomfortable. They don't want to talk about that when we met on the dating site. So does anyone know what's the difference? Why do people feel ashamed if they were introduced by friends or met on the dating site or social network site?
It's mostly culture.
Mostly culture?
Yeah.
Like what?
In the East, like in India, it's all arranged. So
right.
There's no shame in that.
Right, exactly.
It's actually respectful.
Right, exactly.
Here in U.S., the culture is you go around and meet somebody. So
so this
cultural
is
differences.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the way that people have been meeting each other forever, right? So, and also there's a part of the romance in there, the serendipity of meeting someone randomly on the street. Something like that makes it makes it more
Exciting.
Yeah, but more exciting, and but for me, I felt like the difference is there's another factor other than what you're saying, tradition, the culture. There's another factor which is how target oriented you are. So when you meet someone in everyday life, you could feel like, oh, I was just shopping and I met this guy, or I met him in a party, something like this. So it's more as if you're not looking and you met this person. And then the other ones, when someone set you up as in a blind date, you felt like, I'm going to the blind date for the purpose of meeting this person for my, like, as if I'm going to marry this person. So for myself, I never felt uncomfortable of telling people where I met different people, because every time when I go out to meet it, even if it's blind date or people I met online, I think as long as you have this sense that you're meeting this person just to know this person more as a friend, and if things turns out to be well, then that's good. You keep going, right? But I don't think there's a very basic difference in meeting people when you go about everyday life or you meet them anywhere else. It's just a different way or a different route to find these people. As long as you don't, like, when you go out on a date with someone as if you're going to marry this person next day or feel very uncomfortable, then that's... So I'm going to go down, talk about each of these and how you can maximize your chance in each of these situations. So the first one, what is in your everyday routine? Like, does anyone here feel like they meet enough people to go on dates just from their regular daily activities? You do? That's good. That means you're doing the right thing, right? So, what do you do?
Me?
Yeah, like your everyday. Like, what enables you to meet people?
Well, it's actually simple. You just go over, and there are some techniques that you need to acquire to approach who is you find attractive, and you just keep practicing.
Exactly.
Be confident. Your gesture,
right.
Especially as I know there's some stereotype about Asian males. Trust me, it's all about your confidence. You go over and just your posture, and then introduce yourself. And there's some techniques you can really apply. Whether or not it works, you have to keep practicing. Yeah.
Great. Excellent. So confidence is the number one thing for a man. When the man meets a woman, if you project the confidence to the woman, you will have a very high chance the woman will talk to you. For women, on the other hand, it's not confidence; it's beautiful smile. So when you talk to someone, if you smile to guys, they find you much less intimidating. So they will come and talk to you. So this works for both in everyday life and also online and everything. So if you have a very nice smiling picture, a lot of guys will talk to you, things like that. But we'll go over that later. So for those of you who think that you don't meet enough people, don't meet enough potential people you can go on dates or you are interested in everyday life, you need to think about what you do every day. So do you go to work and come home and read books or watch TV at home and then go to bed the next day, repeat the same thing? So there's a reason you don't meet more people if you do that. Or if you do a lot, you have a lot of activities, but say you go out do these activities with the same people all the time. And these people, none of them, you know them very well, and none of them are people you're interested in. So there's a reason you don't meet new people and you don't go out on dates, because there's no new supply, right? So you need to do these things. If you find that you're going through the same routine all the time and you don't meet new people, you need to expand your social circles. You need to go to different activities. You can't just stay and drink beer with your buddy all the time or go dancing with a group of girls all the time. So that won't work. So that's one thing. That's how to expand your social circle and meet more people. But there's a lot of other things. For example, if you can meet new people when you go shopping, right? You can meet people when you're waiting in a restaurant, waiting in line. So all these things, how do you meet people in this way? This is like this is your attitude of life. This is related to your attitude of life. So a lot of people are engineers. How many of you are engineers here? Okay, not that many. Okay, so I'm an engineer. So when I do things, I'm thinking of the most efficient way to do it. If I need to go to the post office, I get everything ready, go to the post office, wait in line, counting minutes, and once it's done, I go home. But that's not the right way to go about your daily life. What you need to do, you need to open your mind, just slow down. When you go to the post office, you stay in line. Don't just stare at the teller and waiting for them to be ready. Talk to people around you. Look at people around you, talk to them, and smile at them. So this way, you actually, not only do you practice your skills of talking to other people, other gender, and you also get, like, your life quality is much better. This way, you can get to meet people. I met a lot of people that I went on a date with from train station when I'm waiting for train, or outside the restaurant, things like this. So as long as you have an open attitude, you go out shopping. For example, for girls, right? If you go out shopping, don't make people feel like you are not approachable. How do you make people think you're not approachable? You're on the phone all the time, talking to your friends somewhere. Or when you go shopping, you don't look at anything else. You just go look at the shelf and just pick your stuff and then go. So that's a way to make yourself not available. So when you go out to do things, don't do that. And also, for example, when you go to parties, a lot of people go to like New Year's parties. There's so many people there. People go there to basically express themselves, meet new people, and attract. So a lot of people go to parties to attract other people, right? But a lot of people, what they do after they get there, a lot of girls do this, especially. When they get there, they stay together with their little group of girls, and they talk to each other as if they're really busy, right? So when you do this, when a guy sees you, they're not going to come over and talk to you because they are afraid they're going to interrupt you. So you can talk to your friends to feel not so nervous, but at the same time, you need to look around and smile at people that you see. But when you cross your eyesight, you need to look at them and something like that. So this is like how you can make yourself available in your everyday life. All right, so we were talking about this. And then the active part, also not only that you have to increase your social circle to go meet new people all the time, you need to be, you need to think about your target. So like, a really good friend of mine, after he broke up with his long-term girlfriend, he's going to just random places to meet people. And then after a year, he felt very frustrated because the people he met are not the people he wants to go out with. So he actually thought about this problem really hard. And he realized that the people that he wants to meet with are people who he can talk about everyday life, like talk about politics, talk about big things that are happening. So he moved to the Bay Area. He started to go to Stanford campus all the time. So they have a lot of events there. He'd go to their dance parties. He'd go to their yoga classes because there are girls there. And Pilates classes because there are girls there. He used to do all guy stuff, but he does that. Now he has a long-term girlfriend from Stanford. They've been together for over 1.5 years. So this is basically the first one. You need to meet as many people as you can, and then you need to target them. You know where to find them. So I think that's about the number one category. Meet them in yourself. Any questions?
I have a question. Because we don't really know many places to meet people. So where would you recommend to go to meet people? Because I think most people here are not engineers, but they have high education. So they are looking for the people who have the same education.
Right.
Where would you recommend to look for people? In Stanford Is any other place or any other events?
There are a lot of LAM events you can go to. So I know a lot of mailing lists that you can go to from the Ivy League places. They have a lot of activities. They have Stanford hiking events, almost ongoing every weekend. There's 1 or 2 at least. And there's also like singles LAM events from Ivy Leagues and things like this. So if you really want to look, you can find them for sure. I can send my list to. So I have a list of a lot of places based on my interest and what I wanted to look for.
Yeah.
I go to these places, and also Meetup is a great place. If you go to Meetup, you search for keywords of events that you want to go. You can find these places.
Is it possible you can share those mailing lists or those kind of places?
Yeah, I'll compile a list and give it to Jenny and send it to you.
I think you will ask questions. I promise that you will receive a new issue of Toastmasters magazine.
Okay, thank you.
And a flower.
Because I talked to Americans, my colleagues, and they said they don't even know where to meet people because you don't really want to meet people in the bar. It's not really a place. A lot of people don't go to the bar to meet people. So they have a problem. Even Americans, they feel like they have a problem. They don't know where really to find people.
Yeah. I think if you know who you're looking for, it's much easier. So it looks like you know who you're looking for. So you can. I think that there's so many resources. I meet people all over the place.
I think the problem, me and my friends, we don't really know.
Okay.
Many places to meet.
Great question. I will pass this mailing list. You just write your email address, phone number, name, and then we can email you the cues and information, like where to meet. Collectively, like each of us may have some ideas, and we can compile a good list.
Yeah, because some people go to the Bay Area Dragon and join the hiking, but not everybody is interested in hiking. So sometimes we don't really know the resource, what the events we can participate.
Right. So I think Bay Area is a really amazing place. Whatever events you want to go to or whatever interest you have, you can find interest group to go to. So for example, I at some point I got into caving, so I just went on Meetup and find 3 caving groups. So there are a lot of resources.
One thing I just want to talk about, I think you made a lot of great points, and speaking of my personal experience or just around my friends, and I think it's very important you have to understand yourself to see what you're interested, what's the things you really enjoy doing. Because at the end of the day, you want to find somebody who is very similar to your value, your interest. So you probably want to just try to analyze yourself a little bit and try to understand what you're passionate about, what you enjoy doing, and from there and try to look for the groups, and probably that's a very good approach.
Yeah.
And you're definitely right, there's so many things, Meetup's a great place, and if you enjoy hiking, there's so many groups, people actually organize hiking events over the weekend, so a lot of things you can do.
Yeah, excellent point. So that's what she was talking about is the 0.1 thing that I listed on there. So you need to figure out what you like. You need to figure out who you are and what you're looking for. Because when you go about, people you're attracted to or people who are attracted to you may not be the one for you because fundamentally you may not be compatible, right? So you need to know about yourself, and physical attraction is a must, but the underground foundation of this common foundation you have to have as well. So once you know yourself, you know what you like, it's much easier for you to.
Yeah, because I think the company I work for, most people at my age, they're already married. So normally they don't talk about those things. Maybe she knows more resources, but for me, I have not been in this area very long.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like I don't really know many places.
Yeah, you go talk to her.
Well, actually, if you get yourself out there, you're going to see a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, people get
It is pretty amazing here.
What you're looking for, and people are welcome and are willing to actually share information.
Yeah.
Just a quick plug-in for the lady who's interested in getting in touch with doing things as well as meeting people. There's a volunteering group, and I know she's busy talking to Jenny now, so everyone else can write this down. There's an organization I've been working with for a few years. It's called very easy way, and the way that they're setting up their volunteering kind of model is that you will have, a volunteering day for about 2 hours, 3 hours, but there's always an event manager, and at the end of that volunteering assignment, people are welcome to get together to grab some lunch together,
Right.
hang out somewhere, grab some snacks. So that's always the model of this particular organization. So I know business partners have, found each other because they.
Right. Volunteering groups is a great place to meet people because a lot of people, when I ask them who you're looking for, a lot of people don't have specifics because they don't really know, but they all say a good heart. So a volunteering place is a place you find people with good heart. So that's a very good place to go. All right, we'll have to go a little bit faster now. So the second way to meet people is through your family, friends, and coworker networks. So coming back to these two things. Number one, to be actively pursuing. In this scenario, you need to go to the parties. If your coworkers, your friends inviting you to parties, just go. Even if you don't know anybody, or just know this one person who's inviting you. It doesn't matter. You're going to meet more and more people, making more and more friends, and then they become your friends network increase. It just grows exponentially, right? And on this point of passively, you need to go talk to your friends. Tell your friends you're looking. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We have been all looking, if we're single, we're looking. Either we're actively looking, or we don't have too much time spending on it. We just do something whenever there's time, depending on how important it is for you to find someone in your life, right? So tell them that you're looking, and if they know someone, they should introduce this person to you. I actually think this is the most reliable way of meeting people, because your family, your friends, they already filter these people for you. So they kind of know that you guys will get along. Your values of your view on money, your view on politics, or whatever that religion that's important for you. They know that you are going to be more compatible, and they know their background, so they're not going to be some fluke from somewhere. So this is actually one of the reasons that I really like the Indian systems where they can just go home. Their family will find like 10 or 20 people for them to meet in 2 weeks, right? And then they meet them. It's not that you have to marry any one of them, but if you happen to meet someone that you have sparks and you get along really well, that's just amazing. You still have the butterflies in your stomach and everything involved with the romantic relationship, and then you get it so easily, right? You don't have to do much work. But, the third way, online, this is not just for dating sites, but also Facebook. Facebook is very powerful. I have so many friends who has met their boyfriend, girlfriend through Facebook. How? Because they were browsing their friend's feed, and they see this photo pops up, and it looks like a very cute girl or a handsome guy. So they click in and start reading their profiles, and they send messages to them. And then they have the friends in the middle, so they know that this person is kind of reliable, right? So, and dating site is obviously a place that you go because they're mostly singles, right? There's some people who are not. So, in this case, for the active way to looking, basically when you come and see some interesting people's profiles and things, someone that attracts your eye, just go in and check them out. Go check out whether they're single, and then check out more about their profile, and maybe you like them and what they say, right? And then ask them out or things. So the passive way, this is something that you can do something about, and then you can just sit there and wait for people to come and contact you. So what you need to do, this is advertise yourself, right? You need to have a good profile photo. A lot of people put on a profile photo of like really dark or far away thing that or a mountain or a beach, so that they like. not that someone else look at the profile will like. So if you put an attractive photo of yourself on there, when you like someone, your friend's photo or whatever happens, you get a lot of exposure, and people will come and check you out. A lot of people spend time on Facebook to check out photos or profiles of their friends' friends. So this is the fact. This is a study done about that. I don't know whether you guys do that. I do that. So not only do you need to put on a good photo, you need to do something on there. So for example, if you really like something, you write notes. Some people write, yes?
Can you define attractive?
Okay. First of all, the photo cannot be very dark, that people can't see your face, right? Second of all, for women, it's always smile. So if you smile, it's much more attractive than anything else. For men, there's a study done that you should not smile. But you should not look like you're unhappy. But you should not smile. And you should look like not directly into the photo, the camera. You should look like slightly off to the camera. So that's what the study said. But the photo has to be clear. It has to show your face like people. Right.
It really depends. Like
Yeah.
I'm always looking for smiling guy. I like people who don't smile.
Right.
I don't smile, so I want to smiling to me.
Yeah. So the study is for like what's the average or what's the most attractive thing, right? It's not like, of course it's very different. And also there was a very interesting photo that was shown that got a lot of view. Basically it has really bright color contrast, and it's something that people, when you look at it, you think, wow, what is this? Something like that will generate a lot of curiosity for people. So I actually did experiment with my photos on the dating sites. So I used to put just very nice photo my friend took for me, photoshopped, very nice. And I get people writing to me. And then one day I added a photo of me. It just came out of a cave with all the mud and everything, hair messed up and clothing like with the mud, very dirty. And I get the number of messages to me increased so much just because of that photo. Because people the depth of how people understand you completely changes, right? When you have a nice photo, okay, you look nice, attractive. But when you put something else like that on there, people think, oh, this is an interesting person, and she actually doesn't mind showing,
dirty.
huh?
Doesn't mind getting dirty.
Yeah. So.
Depends on what you're looking for. I always look for people with smiling face and animals. Show that they have charity.
Oh, right. Okay. So talking about animals, this is not on this topic, but the first one. So animals is a very good prop for you to meet people. So if you bring a little cute dog, people have something to talk to you, to start the conversation with. And also there are other tricks like these things doesn't just work for dating. It works for making friends or for when you go to a business luncheon or something. You can read these. There's so many books about this. So for example, when you go to a business luncheon or to go to a party, wear something interesting, just outrageous or something like that. Not necessarily a dress that's outrageous, but a accessory or something like that. So that when someone is interested in talking to you, it's much easier. You make it much easier for them to come and start the conversation. So things like that. Right. So on these online sites, you need to put a good picture, and then you need to express yourself on there. So when someone comes along and browse your profile, they realize you're somebody who has a lot of things to say or things to express. So this is actually a big problem I've found from with a lot of engineers. So many people I met are really interesting people. They have so many interesting things that they do every day. They have hobbies and they write poems and take really amazing photographies. But when you meet them, even after second date, you don't know, because all these people, especially people from Asian countries, they're so humble, right? They're so humble that makes it so difficult for you to discover them and to like them as much as you should like them. So this is a dilemma in dating. Like, I would say on the first date you need to release some information to your date. You can't just think that you are a great person and someone should know that you're a great person. They don't know. They look at you, they just see this person who is exactly the same as the next person that they just met like yesterday. So in order to stand out, you need to show something. And the way to show something is to, for example, if you want to tell them about something you did, you can ask them the question, are they interested in something like this, or did they do something like this? If they're interested in you, they will ask you the same question, and then they will find out about this amazing thing that you just did. If they're not interested in you, then it doesn't matter, right? So that's the third thing that I want to talk about. So, and that's all. There's so many things I could talk about, but that's all the time we have, like 35 minutes over time. Sorry, guys. And if you have more questions.
I have one more question about that online dating thing. I think it works better for those good-looking people, like good-looking men or women, but if for a person